This is our 4th annual trek. We've already done Sahara, Machu Picchu, Hadrian's Wall, and then this year we're going to Kilimanjaro. It's the Foundation's annual trek, and generally what happens is we ask a couple of the legends where they'd like to go, and our legends this year are Bryan Robson and Moran. And Bryan Robson, being Bryan Robson, wants something that's really, really challenging, and so he's chosen to go to Kilimanjaro.
The Manchester United Foundation's biggest ever challenge, a Kilimanjaro trek. Our preparation began months earlier with a special training day at the Aeon Training Centre. It was a big eye-opener as we learned about taking on Africa's highest mountain.
Respect yourself, respect the team that you're working with, but I think, and this will come more probably from Bryan, you're going to have to respect the mountain and nature.
It's an amazing mountain in that you go through all the different biospheres. So you start at the bottom through the jungle, and then you go through rainforest and cloud forest, then you get up into savanna, then you get up to alpine desert, and then eventually obviously you get up to the top where there's a glacier on the summit.
So what I'm going to do today is briefly give you some basic tips, training advice leading up to your expedition.
This was a reality check for all of us, with altitude sickness expected to be one of our biggest problems. Our first real test though was nearer to home with a warm-up trek up Mount Snowdon.
Right, you can't even get a rucksack on, we're going to struggle here.
Once I finally managed to get the rucksack on, off we went. It was a hard slog, but once we all made it to the top, we all felt great. It's Bryan Robson here, and I'm just sitting on top of Snowdon at this moment of time. We're very fortunate because the weather's a little bit overcast, but it's not too cold. But as you can probably hear on the microphone, it's quite a bit breezy. So this is probably the best bit of training that we're going to do leading up to the Kilimanjaro trek. But everybody on the group has really enjoyed it. Parts of it is very hard work. So if there's anything like parts of this on Kilimanjaro, which I'm sure there is, it's going to be hard work. But this is probably the best type of training that we could do, before we go away on the 17th of October. But like I say, everybody's enjoyed it and everybody's worked really hard getting to the peak. Now we have the canny task of walking back down, and get back to the car. So in all, I think it's somewhere around about 6-7 miles we've walked, and it's going to be about 6 or 7 hours by the time we get back down to the cars. Snowdon conquered, but Kilimanjaro loomed large in our minds.
Karibu, Tanzania. Welcome to Tanzania. This will be my 18th time leading a group up Kilimanjaro. So I do know something about it, but the experts are the guys who we're going to be using, the locals. Okay, they've been up hundreds of times and they know everything about the mountain. So any questions about the mountain, please ask them, get to know them and have a chat with them. My role here is really your safety, and it's also to in a proverbial way, kick your ass and get you as far up the mountain as you can physically get up and mentally get up that mountain. That's my job. And then obviously we've got our leadership team of the locals that we'll introduce more tomorrow when we see them. So our local guide, assistant guides, porters, etc., etc. Please chat to them, guys. The person you are tenting with, which is the person you're rooming with tonight, will be your buddy. That buddy is a person who looks after, sees whether you're drinking enough water, checks whether you're not getting any blisters, looks to see if you've got sun cream on the back of your neck and you're not getting burnt, etc., etc.
Right, Kev. You're on Cine.
You're on Cine.
Right.
First day.
How did your day go?
How did the day go? Well, it was a very early start for us, but I think everybody managed to have a good time. A lot of people sleeping on the flight. I can see the reason why, because once we got here, then it was straight down in for a little bit to bite to eat. I think everybody's looking forward to tomorrow. All a bit excited. Looking at Bryan and myself, goes back nearly 30 years since we were in a room together like this.
And look how close he's been to... no! But at least flight was on time, Kev. Everything runs quite smoothly today, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've no complaints at all. Everything ran absolutely spot on. But let's hope everything else works the same way.
Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni, wakaribishwa.
A beautiful morning heralded the real beginning to our African adventure, and it was the last time to double check that everyone knew each other.
Sally, Matty, Daddy, and Julia.
Dave, Ben, James, Brian, Claire, Amy, Tim, Melinda, Sally, Matty, Mandy.
Everyone gets stuck on the one next to him. I know, exactly.
Sylvia.
Julia.
Hakuna matata. Tanzania yetu. Hakuna matata. Kilimanjaro yetu. Hakuna matata. Nayo Moshi yetu. Hakuna matata. Nayo Mkwe yetu. Hakuna matata.
Had a long drive to get to the gate, quite long, very long indeed. Yeah, good so far. Not feeling any effects. A little bit of a headache, but we think that's the tablets. Other than that, really good. Enjoying it.
Mambo Jumbo. Mambo Jumbo. Nice to meet you. I'm Florence.
Hi, Florence.
You're welcome, guys.
Jumbo.
Jumbo.
My name is Dale, assistant guide.
Dale.
Dale.
Yeah. Jumbo.
Jumbo.
My name is Wilhad. I am assistant guide.
Wilhad.
Yeah.
Jumbo guys, my name is Shaban, assistant guide. Yeah.
Jumbo. My name is Efata Emmanuel, assistant guide.
Jumbo, Said, assistant guide.
King Suleiman, assistant guide. Welcome to the mountain. Yeah.
I had my first cold in years, so not feeling my best, and these warning signs didn't help the nerves either.
Let's go. This is our leader today, so stay behind him. Slowly, slowly.
How many times in 1 year?
So many times, I can't even remember.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my word. Not get bored?
No.
Do you enjoy it? Yes. Every time?
To help prevent our worst enemy, altitude sickness, the guides would remind us to keep the pace down. Pole, pole, slowly, slowly.
Today's been a little bit different to the flight over, and I'll give it that, Kev. Since we're up at 6 o'clock, so packed, got everything ready for your rucksack of what we needed, and then had a bit of breakfast at 7:15.
Ready to leave for 7:45? And what happens?
Leave 7:45, bus is late. Now, with Fergie, that would be a fine. So anyway, everybody got away with it and that, but we got in the coach, and the 4-hour coach journey turned out to be a 5-hour coach journey. So that was a good start to the day.
Were there any particular special moments from the afternoon's trek so far?
For me, when the kids joined us on the trek coming up, that was brilliant. The kids coming from school walked halfway up with us.
There's the boys. He's off him, he's not waiting, is he?
Yeah, boys. Okay.
Oh. Remember to drop me poles. Hello.
Jumbo.
Jumbo.
The kids were fun because he said they were holding people's hands going up, and the words they knew was, by the way, have you any chocolate? Which inevitably they did get some. But they were sweet.
And then also when we got to the top, when we turned round, the view over towards Kenya and everything was startling. Yeah, so first day, it's been not bad.
Yeah, everybody's safe and sound. Yesterday, our first night in camp, which for many was their first night camping, I think, ever. Messrs Robson and Moran were just totally hilarious.
Please don't tell me we've got to do a queue in here.
People are talking in dialogue and you can hear it all around the camp. Some of the conversations they go up to, and most tents were belly laughing at what was going on.
The soldiers have to look after that. They have breakfast for meeting people.
Lots and lots of people out of the comfort zone last night. First time they camped. First time they'd, used a portable toilet, which I have to say, compared to all the treks I've been on, is absolute luxury. First time they've ate under canvas. So lots of first time things last night, and I thought the group did really, really well. Today we're walking from 2,600 metres up to 3,600 metres. Quite a steep climb up to lunch, up to the Kilimanjaro caves, and then we traverse across over all the ridges going to the camp, Kilimanjaro camp.
He looks knackered, doesn't he?
Oh, I got sweat on that. Yeah, you're going to slow down. Sorry, you got blisters on your toes. Slow down.
You're just trying to get everybody at the steepest point, aren't you? To get them at a weaker moment.
Well done. How you doing, Andy?
Yeah.
A bit tough. Is that a little bit better? Brilliant. Good. Well done.
Hey, you alright? Yeah, alright? Don't fall over now. Second highest of the volcanoes. So you have Uhuru, which we'll be climbing, Owenzi, and then Shira, which is collapsed.
Enjoying it though? Yeah, look forward to getting up there now.
Get up there.
Getting up there, getting up the summit. Going for it.
We'll be there, aren't we?
Yeah, three more days.
Making progress.
As we reached another key stopping point, our leader Bryan thought it was time to give the group some very serious warnings about what could happen from here on in.
First one is called AMS, which is acute mountain sickness. All of us will probably get AMS at some point, okay? That's a natural acclimatization of the body to altitude. So what are the signs and symptoms of AMS? Headache. Classic is headache. Headache may be due to dehydration, so we'll always ask you to drink water first if you have a headache. I've once walked up Kili and got all the way to the top, and it was literally like walking up Snowdon. Once. The other 17 times it hurt like hell, okay? And I had a headache at some point. Then we have the two that are the killers, okay? So these two kill people. One's called HAPE, H-A-P-E, which is high altitude pulmonary edema, and one is HACE, H-A-C-E, high altitude cerebral edema. HAPE is a swelling in the lungs, and basically the fluid leaks from your capillaries into your lungs. So what normally happens, you breathe, goes to the lungs, the pressure pushes it into your capillaries, that goes around your body and puts all the oxygen around your body. What happens is the pressure changes and the blood leaks backwards. So you actually get blood coming into your lungs and fluid in your lungs. So the next one, HACE, which is cerebral edema. That's swelling in the brain. That's even worse than swelling in the lungs. Your brain can only go one place when it swells. It goes down the spinal column into what's called the foramen magnum. If it goes down your spinal column, two things get affected. First, your eyes go a bit squiffy, and second, you stop breathing. Okay, because your respiratory system is there. And that can happen like that. If you have HACE, you can die 2 minutes later. Okay? I guarantee you will see somebody on the summit with HACE. None of our group, by the way, but I guarantee you'll see somebody. I've never been to Summit of Kili without seeing somebody with HACE, which is very scary. So, okay, so it's a great question, how do you get down? If you can still walk, then you'll have two porters grab you by the side, or assistant guides, and they'll just run you as fast as you can physically go down the mountain, and they'll keep, your feet will be off the ground most of the time, and they'll just run down as fast as possible. If you can't walk, they'll throw you on the shoulder, run you down to the first camp, put you in the Kilimanjaro stretcher, which you may have seen last night.
Yeah.
Kiddie stretcher, big metal thing with a massive motorbike wheel on, and they run like buggery.
I don't mind getting trolleyed, but want to avoid this one. Day 4, and the trek continued in fantastic conditions as we headed for Moran town.
Yeah, this is where the others walk. This time, June.
So we're at Moran, which is probably one of the best campsites, I reckon, on the whole of Kilimanjaro. Beautiful, we're a tarn at the bottom, and it's just a flat plateau, which is probably one of the only places you can actually camp flat, because all the rest of the time on every single campsite we're camping on a slant, and we're sliding down inside our tents at night, trying not to fall out the porch.
What is happening? What's that then now?
It's dry shampoo.
It'll make you feel so fresh.
It does look grey, actually.
So
It's bringing lots of grey out, to be honest. Well, you came, it's just cleaning it.
It'll feel so volumised.
Oh, volumised. It feels really volumised.
I'm sure that's what Kevin really wants.
Is that it done then?
Oh, I should hope not. I paid 100 quid for this.
There you go, good as new.
It's good, yeah.
Think about that.
Yay!
It just looks a bit greasy around the ear.
Oh, greasy.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Oh, hit the ear.
There you go, all fresh.
Okay.
Boy band stuff now.
Anyone else?
So Kevin is feeling fresh. How's everyone else doing?
So far, I've really enjoyed it.
I'm good, apart from that I've got tingly cheeks.
What luxury are you missing the most? A bath.
I've no idea why I've got tingly cheeks.
And a toilet.
I've got 2 pairs of gloves on, about 12 different layers, things on my head.
I'll never come camping again.
But I have enjoyed the experience.
I'm having a great time. Maybe.
I didn't know how to pee on the floor because obviously I don't have as much practice as these 2 guys, so I hadn't quite got the squat right. And the girls were all doing it. I'd done it about 3 times, and I kept weeing on my own shoes.
Oh, no.
So mixed emotions, but our spirits were lifted by the singing of the guides and porters. This walk is to help us acclimatise. It's getting really difficult now, and we're all starting to feel the effects of the altitude.
The last section we did is very, very similar to what's called Jamaica Rocks. So Jamaica Rocks is the last section on the route you can see, where it gets almost vertical. That is the last section. It's an hour or 45 minutes on Jamaica Rocks. So very, very similar to what we've just done. You would have experienced on what we've just done that as you go up, you get out of breath very quickly because you're gaining height so quickly because it's big steps rather than little steps that we've been doing because you're stepping up rocks. So you have to amazingly slow yourself down. So you have to force yourself to go slower. So you just take a step, pause, take a step, pause. You might have to actually take a couple of breaths and move on. So make sure that when we're up Jamaica Rocks, because we're all going to get to there, when we get to the summit, that we make sure we go very, very slowly and you just take your time. Don't walk at the same pace you've been walking at when you're on the actual scree. It's totally different, okay? So the route we're doing tomorrow, we're not coming up here tomorrow, okay? We go back almost the way we came, around the side, and then you'll see the path, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, there's people on it there, bro.
The path goes across here. It goes across this plateau. And can everybody see the green hut?
Yeah.
So that is camp, okay? So that's Kibo camp. So that's basically tomorrow night's camp.
How long is that run?
We'll get there, it's about 6 hours. So we'll get there for lunch, have lunch there, and then obviously we rest, have dinner, rest, and then we go for the summit. You can see the whole summit route, yeah?
Yeah.
All the way up to Jamaica Rocks and to the top. The top of that point is Gilman's. So that's Gilman's Point. From Gilman's Point to the summit, to the actual Uhuru Point, Uhuru meaning freedom, so Freedom Point is the actual Uhuru. So this is called Kibo, the whole mountain is Kibo, and on the top is Uhuru. It's about 2 hours walking around the left-hand side of the crater. Okay, so the crater will be on your right.
So is that a bit flat then?
It's all uphill, but it's flatter than that, definitely, yeah. But don't underestimate it, okay? It is a lot of uphill.
So Brian, you're saying that we've got about 6 hour trek.
Yep.
Then we've got a 6 hour rest.
Yep.
And then we've got an 18 hour trek up and back.
Back down, yeah. This day we've done an acclimatisation walk, so the idea is you can do this in 6 days, but it does probably drop your percentage of getting to the summit by 30%. So by adding this extra day in does help people. So we've just done a walk up to the ridge today, so it's a 2.5 hour walk. Seems very small, but we've gained a good height, which allows us to sleep lower tonight because we've gained height during the day. So that will help a lot of people who've been having problems sleeping.
So we're here at the toilets. They are quite luxurious, they're more than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. And both currently in use. I don't know if that's
You can catch coming out the toilet.
Sally's queuing up. Sally, how do you feel about the toilet situation?
Because we didn't expect things. We're very lucky to have them.
I don't know if you can turn around and see as well the long drop toilets that are over there that smell fabulous.
They're a bit smelly, aren't they?
That are literally off the edge of the cliff. So.
Dolly, you might be better off using them.
Oh dear. We might not want to know what's going on in this. Are you okay, Dave?
Am I okay?
I'll take it as a no.
Probably half the team have had issues sleeping, maybe not sleeping at all or just on and off. And that's not just due to the cold, that's mostly due to the altitude and people struggling with sleeping.
Tuko Kilimanjaro twapanda, twangoje wazungu kupanda.
5 o'clock was an early start, I must admit. The difficult thing is trying to pack when it's dark. You know, so that made it a bit more difficult, plus it's still like really cold. Six more hours of walking ahead of us, and we're headed for the summit base camp, those huts in the distance, and this will be our route up the side of the mountain.
It looks such a long way from here.
Summit day. So I said we're getting up at 11 p.m. We're going to set off at 12. I just want to give you a sort of breakdown of the walking on summit day and how that works. So there are major points en route that we try and hit at certain times, and then we know we're on time or behind time or ahead of time, etc. So we know we're walking at the right pace. So these are sort of the points en route. First real point is called Williams Point, and that takes 2.5 hours to get to. That is the 5,000 metre mark. So that's a great one to get to, 5,000 metres. Then from there it's about 45 minutes to get to what's called Hans Meyer Cave. Hans Meyer being the first European to climb Kilimanjaro. So he's got a cave named after him. I think it's named summit after him, but only a cave. And that's at 5,150 metres. And that's basically the halfway point to the ridge, to the summit ridge. At that point it normally gets very cold, so that's normally where we put extra kit on, which I'll talk about in a moment. From there, we go out and there's sort of a zigzag area. So you're talking between Hans Meyer and Jamaica Rocks, which is at 5,500 metres, 2 hours on zigzags.
It's the middle of the night and our final ascent is very close.
I just want central heating, a bath, a proper toilet, to get clean, and to not have to sleep in a tent and pack anymore.
Steve, how are you feeling this morning?
Nervous. I didn't make it, unfortunately. I got to the state where I was losing balance and going off track, and at that stage the doc come to me and says you've got to go down. Luckily we got two very experienced leaders, a doctor and a group leader who made it very clear to us at the start, if you ask to go down, you go down. You've no debate, you're down. There are actually six were stretchered off last night. I believe there's 9 who die on Kilimanjaro every year.
A large part of the final journey takes place in pitch black conditions.
Kilimanjaro plays tricks with you. When I hear the stories coming back, there are different stop-off points where you greet with a cup of tea and you're at the top. And then they say, well, if you really want to go to the top, it's another 2-hour trek round there up a hill, which is very demanding and soul-destroying. But luckily, the group got themselves through. Even the people who didn't get to the top of the mountain have still scaled any of the highest peaks in Europe.
After days of pain, 6 team members not making it due to altitude sickness and pushing ourselves to the absolute limit, this fantastic group of people finally made it.
It was by far the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my whole life. Yeah, it was okay. First thing, it was a bit eerie climbing in the dark. But then we got to the Jamaica Rocks, which was basically rock climbing at 5,000 metres above sea level, when your body just wants to give up on you. And I felt like I wasn't going to make it to the top.
It's weird walking in the dark. That was quite surreal.
but I threw my headphones on, got some music going, and just got the rhythm of the walking going, and yeah, it just felt okay once we got going, but it was tough.
But I had the two Bryans, Bryan Jackson and Bryan Robson, who basically got me just to Gilman's, and then from there it's just been a hard slog.
It was brutal. There's not any two ways about it. I never came across anything like it. A number of times you just felt like turning around and going back down. We just kept plodding along, but it was so hard.
Incredibly difficult. I'm telling you what, people who do this for nothing, for the fun of it, they are mad. They've got to be mad. Anybody who does it for charity, they deserve £1 million when they get up here, because that was absolute agony at certain stages. I mean, it's fantastic when you see the scenery and that when you're up here, but that is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Most unbelievable feeling, hardest challenge I've ever done, but so happy to have made it.
But yeah, very emotional, but very pleased that happened.
Probably the toughest day of my entire life, but worth it, and many thanks to Shaban for getting us here. Just freezing. Yeah, happy now.
But when you've waited a while and just rested a little bit, now you feel the sense of achievement about it. But believe me, there was no sense of that when you actually got up here first.
That rucksack, I actually want to throw off the top so that I can just walk down to base camp by myself without that on my back. But it's been a great experience, but probably the hardest experience I've ever had.
No, absolutely no doubt about it. And we knew it was going to be tough, but I didn't think it was going to be as tough as that. Because all the way during it, the last bit, the last climb, and it was just, you just thought it would never ever end.
I always thought the first hour, everybody was having a bit of banter and it was going on like you do. I tell you what, after the first hour, it was deadly silence for the next 6 hours. Nobody said a word because you're just focusing on what you're doing to achieve to get there. And you've just got to save every ounce of energy that you've got in your body.
You couldn't talk. You didn't want to talk. So, where we are at the moment, with the chill factor, it's -22. That's how cold it is up there. So hurry up and turn that thing off.
And bye everybody. It has been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Hope you enjoyed it.
Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Kilimanjaro, hakuna matata.
The gate, go for it.
Kilimanjaro, 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 mlima mrefu sana. Kilimanjaro, 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 mlima mrefu sana. Na mawenzi, na mawenzi, na mawenzi.